sense of a challenge. We're all the same, so we're all just competing, trying to be an All-American.
Probably shed a tear or two just thinking about it right now. I mean, if I was blessed enough to be in that opportunity, I don't know what I'd do.
That one lifted deep into left center field. Green drives it toward the alley, up against the wall.
It would be the best call of my life.
It's all I've worked for, is all those late nights hitting baseballs, working out, running. It's all gonna pay off.
We are at the pier at Petco Park, and on August 11th, this will be the site of the Perfect Game All-American Classic. This is the 11th year the Perfect Game has held this event in beautiful San Diego, California, specifically in this ballpark, and the 17th overall. Hi there, folks. This is Perfect Game's Vice President of Player Personnel, David Ronsley. My name is Darren Sutton. Welcome back to this beautiful ballpark. Throughout this show, we will introduce you to every single 2019 Perfect Game All-American. And David, it turns out to be a preview of the 2020 Major League Baseball Amateur Draft, or even better said, the College World Series in the next couple of years, because throughout the history of this game, 171 Major League alumni. And the other key thing is it sends players into the draft, 215 first-round draft picks. But this is part of a process. And sometimes, David, I want to minimize it as just the big summer, the summer after the junior year, heading into the senior year. But you always remind me, it's not just this summer, albeit a busy one. It's a longer process that crescendos with this announcement. Take us through the couple-year process to arriving here and selecting PG All-Americans.
Well, Darren, just as you said, it really is a process. 12 members of this All-American roster played in the 14U Festival, which is a very similar event to the All-American game, only for 14-year-olds. 21 players played in the PG Underclass All-American games last year that are held in conjunction with the Classic. So these are players we're identifying earlier. We're watching them improve. Players improve at different rates, but they're constantly being evaluated. Now, the National Showcase is the big thing. The Arizona Diamondbacks and Chase Field were such great hosts this year. Let all these top players, over 300 players, really shine, and that's where we pick the team from. But it is that long process of gathering information and watching players get better that go into picking this team.
Such a rich history when you think about who these athletes are. And as far as the journey goes for these athletes, it is a busy time. And let's go to David's National Showcase that we talked about and remind all of you how they and we got here.
Well, it's really a multi-year process. We start ranking the players, when they're freshmen. They get re-ranked 4 or 5 times a year, I guess, on average. And so they're always evaluated. They're evaluated at perfect game events. They're evaluated at non-perfect game events, and hearing things from travel coaches, from high school coaches, from scouts. So it's really a continuous process. And as we go through those years, yes, players get better, players pop up. But it's really an evolution that brings the top 300 players in the country here to Phoenix.
Me and my dad, we go out to my high school field because we're able to do that. And we practice. We basically do this, just a practice showcase almost. We hit, run, throw, do all that. We've been doing that for the past month or so.
It would be unbelievable to get that call. It would be something that would be really special for me, and not only me, but me and my family. I think it'd be awesome.
I think, I've always been, try to stay consistent as I can in order to, be playing with these guys and, stay at the top level, just be the best I can be.
We're here today to introduce you to the future of baseball. Let me first introduce you to a young man out of Helix High School, San Diego show, and he plays there very well, Jordan Thompson. Jordan, please stand.
Just getting the call to be given the opportunity to go to the national event was really cool, and being able to compete with all of those guys was super awesome. Being from San Diego and watching some of my friends and other guys from San Diego being able to play in this game, so it was really awesome to get that call to be a part of this.
This young man is the #1 third baseman in the state of California. He's a top 50 player in the United States. Ladies and gentlemen, he's an All-American and another local product, Kevin Sim.
it was just amazing seeing all these great guys competing, and I was thinking to myself watching those games that one day if I'm able to be here in the Perfect Game All-American Classic, then it would be a total blessing.
Great names like Correa, Bryant, Lindor. Recently, Hunter Green was a player that played in this game. Jordan Adele, who was featured in the Sirius XM, the Outstanding Futures game at the All-Star game. These are big-time names. But, David, let's get to this year's names, and let's go down the top 5 and start at the #1 spot. He's out of Oregon. He's got a huge arm. His name is Mick Abel.
Well, Mick Abel was so good at the National Showcase. He has everything that you want to see in a young pitcher. 6'5", 185 pounds. You can see how easy and effortless that arm action is. He was 95, 97. He was 96 warming up. And the thing that separated him, you just saw one there. He threw an 87-mile-an-hour slider. The first time we saw it, we're behind the plate. We just basically all tossed up our hands and said, that's not fair. It was a 70 quality big league pitch. Go with that fastball. Top prospect in the country.
He's an Oregon State commit. He joined us recently on MLB Network Radio.
All right, so one of the things that I've actually been working on these past couple years is just staying balanced and linear throughout my entire motion. And, like, I've done a pretty good job of it ever since I started working on it more. And it's like, because I used to kind of go sideways and step over my back foot. So I was like stepping towards the other dugout, and then I'd throw. So I just made the adjustment to make it more linear. And, you know, that's probably the biggest key to my delivery. Like, it helps everything stay in balance, and it helps everything, like, it's a machine. Like, you want your machine to be fine-tuned, and you want it to be well-oiled, and I think that's what makes me the well-oiled machine that I am.
He's a PG All-American. He's #2 in the rankings. He was reclassified to a 20 grad, Blaze Jordan.
Yeah, well, that's important because Blaze Jordan is now the youngest player in this class. He won't turn 17 until December. But the most important thing here is Blaze's bat. He's always hit with power. He's always hit against quality pitching. It's a well-rounded bat that's going to hit for average, too. He's a much better athlete than he used to be. He's running 6'9" and playing third base in addition to first. But at the end of the day, it's going to be the bat that carries Blaze Jordan.
He's a Mississippi State commit. We chatted with him at Chase Field at the National Showcase.
Some events I've made is just I've shortened my swing a lot and like shortened my stride and everything. I've just made everything more simpler so I can cut the strikeouts down a lot. And it's just been able to help me barrel more balls and just be more consistent. Over the past year, I've put a lot of work in. I got with the trainer back at home, and then I've been weightlifting a lot, been doing a lot of stuff at school, and that's really helps me and everything. So I've been putting a lot of work in because I've been wanting to get a lot faster and just transform my body. I've done pretty solid so far. I have about 3 for 4 right now, so I'm feeling pretty good. But I mean, I've gotten lucky a little bit, but I'll take it. I'll take the hits. And yeah, I'm playing. I feel like I'm playing pretty well right now and everything. So.
Fellow Mississippi State commit Austin Hendrick. He's out of Oakdale, Pennsylvania, the #3 player in the land.
Well, Austin Hendrick is all about bat speed and barrel width. The ball comes off his bat differently than virtually every other player in this class. It's not a conventional right-hand or left-handed approach, but the way the bat goes through the zone, very loud contact, future power, and he will have a chance to play center field in the future, I think.
We caught up with him on MLB Round Trip with Perfect Game.
I usually start with a very narrow base. My right foot's actually very close to the left, and I don't want to say I kind of coil up, but I kind of load, I cock back. And as a young, I've always done that. So I was young, usually always a little smaller, weaker kid, so I need to get everything out of my body. And, you know, it's something that always stayed with me to this, and now it's just more of a, you know, it's definitely shortened it up, but more of a timing mechanism. Really love getting the lower half in, and kind of using a little bit of Bryce Harper, kind of a little bit of Ken Griffey, taking, you know, things from them and just trying to input them in my swing. A good hand, good lower half. Just seeing the ball well and hitting it.
We'll continue to introduce you to the PG All-Americans, including one of the purest swings in the 20 class. He's out of Southern California, and this is a man that goes from foul line to foul line, Pete Crow Armstrong. Continuing to introduce you to the finest players in the land, David Ronsley, Darren Sutton, and you. Glad to have you with us at Petco Park, the selection show for the 2019 Perfect Game All-American Classic. Dylan Cruz, look, I've talked to some of his teammates that have played with him at different events. They say he is the closest thing that they know, and these are his age players, to a pro.
Yeah, well, Dylan's played more games, had more at-bats, I think, at this level than a lot of his peers. He was a 14U Festival player in 2016. He plays the full schedule, and he's physically mature. Like Austin Hendrick, I think he has a chance to play center field, but again, the bat is the important tool. Big power to right center field in a pro-level swing.
Out of Longwood, Florida, he's an LSU commit, Dylan Cruz.
Growing up, I was always trying to hit home runs, and realizing that the homers will come, and so I just stuck to myself and stayed on playing through every single pitch and just gap to gap every single time.
So people are wrong when they're saying that all the next generation of baseball, all you're trying to do is lift the baseball. Yeah. It's not all of you.
No, I mean, I try to stay away from that launch angle stuff. I mean, you know, if you get on plane, the angle will be there, but you can't force it, you know. Timing, especially timing is one of the biggest things. Timing, keeping the head still, and just stay in that back leg, really. Stay in that back leg and just drive the baseball.
Do you get pitched to in high school games?
Not really, no. I really don't. No, I get pitched around a lot, and a lot of curveballs, a lot of change-ups. But no, that's helped me a lot too. And that's helped me be more selective up there and get the pitch that I want to drive.
David, the son of Ashley Crow and Matt Armstrong, is Pete Crow Armstrong. He is a beautiful, you scouts call it, a beautiful left-handed hitter. Why?
Well, it's everything that Crow Armstrong does on the field is so smooth, that Southern California cool almost. It's a smooth swing. He's a smooth runner. His outfield actions are flawless and smooth. But it looks low energy, but it's impactful. It's fast, faster than it looks. But he's played so much baseball as a Southern California kid. But watch him swing the bat especially. He's going to be a high average potential batting champion type and a very pure center fielder in addition to that.
He's a Vanderbilt commit. He's out of Harvard Westlake High School, and Pete Crow Armstrong just flat gets it done. We'll go inside the cage with him.
If I know a guy is going to attack me inside coming into a game, then I'll probably sit fastball middle in. But it's, again, it's not thinking pull. So for me, it's trying to force everything to the middle. And, you know, I just try and keep my hands inside the ball as much as possible. Because, again, they'll just react and hopefully it'll pull itself. That's another thing that my hitting coaches have preached to me, Coach Court and Junior. If I'm able to stay inside the ball, stay through it, think middle, then I'm not going to get in trouble trying to pull a ball. But again, hopefully I know the guy is trying to attack me inside, and if not, then I'll probably spit on it early in the count.
So, David, what makes this game fun is when they get done with this game and they look back upon it. And I have found that with interactions with Major League athletes, they're glad to look back upon their high school days, their All-American Classic days, their National Showcase days, because it's fun. It's pure, such great memories. If I'm going to ask you to look back on, I don't know, listen, let me go down a couple of guys, Hosmer, Harper, Bryant, Yelich, Manny Machado, Arenado. You got any stories? Just pick one or two athletes. Give me a quick story because you scouted all of them.
Well, the first thing that comes to mind, Darren, is Christian Yelich and Nolan Arenado. They played on the great ABD teams that dominated Jupiter for a couple years, and they hit third and fourth in the ABD lineup. And it was a great team, but you could see these two play and see them develop. And now they're two of the best players in the big leagues. It all started back there when they were playing for the ABD Bulldogs.
In the year 2019, we have had all sorts of fun in talking to the very best athletes in Major League Baseball. And we made it simple. We don't want to know what happened the last 2 weeks ago or about the multi-year contract you're seeking. Talk about amateur baseball and when you were young.
The coolest thing was always being with your teammates, you know, whether it was at a restaurant, after a game, or whether it was in the hotel, in the pool, or in the parking lot, you know, playing baseball in the parking lot.
And I was fortunate to play with some really good players on those ABD teams, you know, Nolan, like you said, Michael Lorenzen. We had some great teams. Tony Walter was on there as well. So we had a lot of guys on that team that actually made it to the big leagues, and you've known those guys since you were 15, 16 years old, traveled before anybody was anything in the big leagues. You're all just chasing this dream, wanting to get drafted or go to school. And, I think that's the coolest part, when you look back on it and realize that, hey, you were in this World Bat tournament in Jupiter, or you were in Georgia playing somewhere, or you're at the USA trial, just wherever, and you see these guys start from high school kids chasing the dream to being successful Major League players.
Perfect Game was awesome. They put on great events all the time. The Athlete Game at the time was probably the highlight of my career up to that point. I mean, you're playing with these amazing, you know, the best of the best in high school. And I'm still friends with a lot of those guys. And it was an experience that I'm never going to forget. I definitely encourage all those players playing in those games to really enjoy it, just like I did.
I love travel ball. I think I played rec ball till I was like 9, and then we got into travel ball. And at that moment, it was like, man, like, this is awesome. We were able to go to Orlando. We went to North Carolina. We're able to go to so many different places, which was fun, you know. And you know, the best parts were those Sunday games where you're trying to get to a championship, and you know, you're playing 3 games in a day.
I don't miss the 8 o'clock games and 8 o'clock in the morning. I don't miss those. Or I don't miss when you fall in the losers bracket and you got to play 5 games to make it to the championship. I don't miss those things. But I do miss the playing with guys all over the country and getting to know players.
On NorCal, getting to know so many players from around Northern California, and how many of those players ended up playing in college, and I played against them, a lot of them in college. And then even beyond that in professional baseball, and even in the big leagues for a few of them. I think that was a lot of fun. But just getting to know those guys, getting to play with my friends in high school, I think those are the memories that I take with me more so than any specific thing on the field.
So let's keep it going. We have those great memories. There's some more that are going to make memories. Back to the roster. Let's talk about the West pitchers. Obviously a diverse group without more than one big Texas arm. We do have one we're going to tell you about. What jumps out to you? I mean, a lot of different states, a little bit of the Midwest with this West pitching roster.
It's a very diversified group, Darren, and I will say that picking the pitchers for this team was extremely difficult, both in the West and the East. We've got a lot of kids now who are throwing mid-90s who are not on this team. There's so much pitching talent out there, and this is a particularly deep class. So if you made this All-American team, you got some talent.
I'm just taking a peek. Here we go. You ready? 6 feet 6 inches tall. Left-handed pitcher Daxton Fulton. Scout him for us.
Well, Darren, obviously everybody loves a 6'6", highly athletic lefty. He could probably be a two-way guy if he went to college. But look at that smooth, easy arm action, the ability to spin the ball. He's throwing up to 93 now. He was 88 last year. The sky's the limit for Dax Fulton. And you know, it's just so much high ceiling there, literally and figuratively.
He's a Vanderbilt commit out of Oklahoma City. And this young man, dad is Chad, mom is Jennifer, Daxton Fulton. Jarrett Jones, USC commit, SoCal guy from Whittier, California, throws hard, even from the outfield.
Well, he's the arm. I mean, it's fun. You see him throw 100 miles an hour from the outfield. It doesn't take a lot of effort. He could be a two-way guy in college as well with his athleticism, but the future's on the mound. He's been up to 99 this spring. He was up to 96 at National, and I've seen him maintain that velocity deep into games. He can spin the ball. It's the whole package on the mound.
Kyle Harrison follows up the big arm of Jones. Harrison, a UCLA commit. He's out of Danville, California, touched 93 at National.
Well, if I had to win a game right now, Darren, I think I'd pick Kyle Harrison. He's 19-1 in his high school career. And he just spots the ball like a big league veteran, dots the outside corner with the fastball. True three-pitch guy who knows exactly what he's doing on the mound and executes it with maturity.
Harrison, the South paw dealing it. We go from one left-hander to another. Arizona's in the house. Tim Salmon is the head coach at Scottsdale Christian Academy. That's right, that Tim Salmon. This is Ronan Kopp. He's an ASU commit.
Well, that's not Daxton Fulton back on there again. That's Ronan Kopp. They're the same profile, 6'5", 200 pounds for Kopp. Loose arm, throws easy. He's up to 94, so he throws a bit harder than Fulton, but it's the same package. He showed a really nice ability to spin the ball at National and has a chance, like Fulton, to be a very high ceiling lefty.
Up to 94 at National, plays for the AZ T-Rex travel team. Melody is mom, Thomas is dad. Arizona represented, and so is Minnesota. North Carolina commit Maxwell Carlson, who, by the way, is a state-level hurdler. He's a great athlete.
Yeah, and that athleticism shows on the mound. He's got a lot of baseball background. His brother Sam was a second-round draft pick, but Carlson was so impressive at National with his ability to throw multiple pitches for strikes, attack hitters with 4 different pitches really, and the athleticism comes in. He's not real big, kind of a Mike Leake type pitcher, but it's a great overall package.
Carlson in the Midwest, and we're not done with the Midwest. Far from it. Port Washington, Wisconsin, Purdue commit George Clausen.
Well, Clausen might be the most improved player in my mind that I've seen in this class. Last year at this time was really struggling with his mechanics. He came out at National and was spectacular. Up to 94 on his fastball, power 82 mile an hour, hammer breaking ball through strikes, then came back at the 17 and under the next week and was just as good. So he's turned the corner with the command, the delivery, and the stuff is elite.
Grew up 28 miles from Miller Park in Port Washington, staying in the Midwest out of Grimes, Iowa. Carter Baumler's a TCU commit, right-handed pitcher.
No, TCU just for baseball because he's a D1 level punter and kicker in football. So he's not a dedicated one-sport athlete yet. And when he does, you'll see him improve. Very, very athletic, was up to 93 at National, has the ability to throw both a curveball and a slider and manipulate it. You saw a great change up there. So he's another guy with all the pitches and the polish who's just going to keep improving with that athleticism.
His dad, Brad, was a linebacker at Northern Iowa, as David said, up to 93 at National, 98 from the outfield. We've got our Texan. And you always have to have a big arm from Texas, and this is a man who may be one of the biggest that we've seen in a long time. He's out of Refugio, Texas, and his name is Jared Kelly. Please tell us what makes him so special.
Well, all spring, Darren, we were hearing reports from Texas about Jared Kelly and how he was throwing upper 90s consistently, throwing strikes. We hadn't seen that from the previous summer, so it was a big bump. He came to National at Chase Field and really lit it up. Topped out at 98. Once he settled down a bit, he showed the slider, he showed the changeup. And for a kid who throws 98 from a small Texas school, throwing that changeup at that level was very notable. It profiles him as a starting pitcher in the future, and he's more advanced than you would otherwise think a young power pitcher would be.
Yeah, we're excited to get to know how he does what he does. Liz's mom, John, is dad. And you know what else he's proud about? That 3.9 GPA. All the time he is in top 10 in his class, and this is an arm though that's going to be talked about a lot as a first-round pick next year. Let's go out to the bullpen at the National Showcase and figure out just how he does it. By the way, nice outing today.
Thank you.
Well done by you. 98.
Yes, sir.
What's the hardest you've ever thrown?
99.
You threw 99 when?
About a week ago, whenever we were playing for the state tournament.
The reaction in there has got to be different. You have to notice velocity's impact on the hitter. Do you? And what does it look like?
To me, it's just, I'm just glad it doesn't take any more stress on my arm than it used to do whenever I've thrown 88. And I just kind of keep it the same and just throw.
And the hitters, how's their reaction different?
Probably a little bit different, but. Well, me, I'm a pretty slow-tempoed guy. I like to keep my composure. And so when I'm just real calm and relaxed, make sure I'm hinching, and then making sure when I'm landing, my legs are straight, I'm not off balance or just keeping everything lined up to the plate. I'm trying to make it my foot, everything out here in front, and make sure I'm pushing off and getting a little bit of drag behind me. And when I'm landing, just making sure everything's back, and we call it overloaded. So making sure that I'm not taking too much stress on like certain parts of my body, everything's loaded and ready to go. If you're pitching and you're leaning this way, most likely your body's gonna fall that way. So I like to keep my head straight and make sure everything underneath me is going straight towards the plate too.
Hold that out for me. So 4-seam only?
Sometimes towards lefties, I like to throw 2-seam. I just grip it just like this and try to put more pressure on one finger than the other.
Okay. Breaking ball. Show me the grip. And describe the pitch.
The same thing like this, and I'm trying to get on top of it now in front of the plate, not coming like around it, letting it hang. So I like to put a little bit more velocity on it, so it's more out here when I'm breaking.
What's the next pitch you want to introduce to me?
Change it. That's probably
Show me.
I keep it, throw mine like this, and the same arm path and everything is just, it's fastball, 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 change up out here, instead of change up from all the way back here.
Somebody has to catch these big arms, and catchers will tell you, I'm sure you've dealt with it for all your years in scouting. When I was about 14 years old and up playing elite baseball, that's when I learned how to catch, because not only am I just hitting velocity, but I'm catching it. And that's where we start with, in your mind, one of the best catchers in the country, Indra Romo. Tell us about the catcher, who, by the way, was a shortstop just a couple of years ago, loves catching now.
Yeah, well, this is a very good group of catchers. We'll see that as we go through the show. Indra Romo stands out as the top catcher in the class. He's been so for a long time. The 18U national team catcher as a sophomore. He really stands out defensively. He's an elite level, deep defensive player, and I think he's one of the rare high school catchers who could be a first-round draft pick out of high school. He's a switch hitter, the bat plays, but it's really the defense that makes him stand out.
Had a 1.76 pop time. Those are crazy numbers for the switch hitter out of the Woodlands in Texas, Indra Romo. He's not alone, though. Georgia Tech commit Kevin Parada, who's out of Pasadena, California, Loyola High School.
Well, Parada's a very good athlete. He runs a 6'7", 60. His best present tool is his bat. He was the MVP in Jupiter last year, where he just dominated for 4 days. He's very physically strong while being athletic. The bat is really going to play, but it's a solid, the athleticism will play behind the plate, but you could see him out in the outfield or at third base or other positions as he matures as a player.
Something cool he did in 18 was he volunteered in Puerto Rico after the devastation and the storms that Irva left behind. Daniel Susac is an Oregon State commit. He, too, is a switch hitter out of Roseville, California.
Yeah, big and strong kid, 6'3", 215 pounds, has those tools you want on an old-style catcher, the power arm, the power in the right-handed bat. Very much a baseball family. His brother, Andrew, was a perfect game All-American, has played parts of 5 years in the big leagues, and very similar tool set in his younger brother, Daniel.
Plays some football, too. Big exit velocity, 103 at National. Those are the catchers on the West roster.
I use Rollins first base mitt, called it the Josie mitt.
You know, I've always been a Rollins guy since I'm younger.
I think I played catch about 6 or 7 times in one day, try to break it in.
I bring it to school with me in class. I really do sleep with it.
Just with the baseball, just go and hit it all day, stay all day over there, stay all day. You keep doing it until you start feeling it, and then just take it to the field right away.
I love this thing, it's a beaut. I break it in with a little flair to it.
And form it like this.
For me, is I have to break my glove in to get it where I want it to be.
I broke it in just like catching everything, keeping a ball in it.
Now I broke it in by catching a bunch of pigs and just catching a bunch of balls with it.
A lot of people put it in the microwave.
It took me probably about 6 months to break this glove in.
And of course, my countries, never forget it, it's right there.
It's a gamer, it never leaves my sight wherever I go.
I don't like to put it in my bag because I don't want it to get messed up. I just carry it around with me.
When I carry it, I always carry it, don't want to put it in my bag, I don't want to smush it or anything.
It's kind of a rare type of glove, limited edition, and I love the webbing on it. I like Evan Longoria's style.
I use the Rollins Pro Preferred 11.5 inch. It's 11.5 inch.
I got a Rawlings Pro Preferred 11 3/4 inches, and I got it for Christmas, but really one of my favorite gloves that I've had so far.
I got my glove up in Lake Worth. The Rawlings, it came custom saying Goldie.
No errors or anything with it, so kind of happy about that. I'm not complaining.
Baseball is not only physics. You can use your mind. Baseball, the 90%, I think so, is about the mind. The first thing I set up, I forget about the wash, the sensors. You only imagine a field with anything. Only you running.
Position players on the East roster, that served as a bit of a preview. Mario Zavala, but that was about a year and a half ago. He is getting bigger. It's amazing that you saw the video there. He's big and strong already. He's getting bigger and stronger, Mario Zavala. This is a very unique, kind of a once-in-a-generation athlete from Puerto Rico.
Oh, yeah, very much so. He reminds me of Raul Mondesi, the elder, not the shortstop for the Royals, in his strength, in his combination of power and speed. And Mondesi was a 30-30 player twice in the big leagues. With the kind of power and the kind of speed that Zavala has, he can be a very similar player to a Mondesi. And that what really stands out in addition with Zavala is he plays the game with so much enthusiasm, so much joy, that it's just a pleasure to watch him play.
Mario Zavala played at Jupiter, the World Wood Bat Association World Championship last year, basically playing up. He was 5 for 7. He had 5 hits and 7 at-bats. Everyone was older. He's an FIU commit, and by the way, 93 from the outfield with an exit velocity of 100 miles an hour. Mario Zavala gives way to Brandon Fields, a South Carolina commit. He's out of Dr. Phillips in Orlando, Florida.
Well, it's ironic that we did those two players back-to-back because they're very similar players when you break them down. Fields, 6 foot, 200 pounds, also a very strong athlete with plus run and power potential. He stole, what, 31 bases in his high school season in Florida this year?
Yeah, state record.
State record, and he has that power, the swing that you can project home run production in the future.
Moving along, like they're moving along, Zach Veen, left-handed hitter, Florida commit, Port Orange, Florida, Spruce Creek High School.
Well, now we're talking about a different type of athlete. Zach Veen, 6'4", 190 pounds, outstanding left-handed hitter with some power right now. But when you see that kind of body on a left-handed hitter, you think of Cody Bellinger when they're younger, Christian Yelich when they're young. I'm not saying that Zach Veen is going to be those players, but it's the same type of physical body profile as those two superstars.
99-mile-an-hour exit velocity. Matt Gerber is his travel coach with the Scorpions. Jake DeLeo, one of my favorites. This guy has kind of stolen a roster spot. He's a riser.
Yeah, very much so. The best athlete in the Northeast from Connecticut. Ran a 6.38 at the National Showcase, showed the ability with the bat, but he really can run. He's 6'2", 190 pounds. You don't expect him to be running like a Mario Zavala or something, but it's very toolsy and it's getting better every day.
Georgia Tech commit, Jake DeLeo. Robert Hassel III, Vanderbilt commit, by the way, an alum of that 14U festival. He's out of Franklin, Tennessee.
Well, we've been watching Robert Hassel play for so long. He's very athletic. Left-handed hitter, center fielder with a 6'5" speed. I think if he goes to Vanderbilt, he has a chance to stand out on the mound as a two-way player at Vanderbilt. But for now, he's a center fielder with a very promising left-handed bat.
His mom is Jane, his dad is Robert, and someday he would like to devote his academic time to the subject of criminal justice. By the way, touched 90 on the mound as well. Johan D Morales is out of Miami, Florida. He's a Miami commit, Braddock High School down there. This is a power-hitting infielder.
Yeah, this is the kind of body, we talked about Zach Veen and bodies you dream on. 6'4", 190-pound middle infielders with quick actions and quick feet and quick hands. You know, you can dream on them as a scout. Where Morales is going to be heavily evaluated over the next year before the 2020 draft is the bat. The raw power is there, the leverage is there in his swing. More consistency could really run him up some draft lists.
Incredible stuff he did, an exit velocity of 100 miles an hour at National. Kobe Mayo, Stoneman Douglas High School, Coral Springs, Florida. Todd Fitzgerald, his head coach.
Yeah, Kobe's 6'4", 205, a power approach at the plate. If anything, it's a little bit imitating Jeff Bagwell in that he loads on his backside.
I love
it's
that.
An uphill swing, and nobody should hit like Jeff Bagwell, Hall of Famer that he is. But Kobe Mayo gets away with it. It's his strength, big power potential.
By the way, KJ, Joey, Michael, that's who push him. Who pushes Alex Freeland? I don't know, Dad's a good guy, but this is a dangerous switch hitter and a Central Florida commit.
This is one of the best hitters in the class, Darren. He's a switch hitter, as you said. It's equal from both sides of the plate. I don't know whether there's anybody who spends more time hitting than Alex Freeland. He started off the National Showcase with a 16-pitch at-bat against Jared Kelly, pumping 96, 98, and was right in his element right there. It's a sweet swing. It's going to play high.
Do you feel like you are two human beings as a hitter? Do you feel like you have to prepare two human beings being a switch hitter?
Oh, yeah, definitely, because my stance and swings are totally different. So I got a different mindset each time I come up to hit. So.
Do you find yourself relationally loving one side and not the other at times?
All the time.
Give me that description.
All the time.
Because it's like you're dating two girls and you're trying to balance them both out. Give me the description of what it's like to love one side and hate the other.
You know, you're never going to be like on both sides. Like I never find myself being on both sides of the plate at all times. But normally I find myself like in the left side so much more because I got that power in my left side. But when I'm righty, it's like more contact, more just line drives. But I do find myself liking the left side more. But the right side, it's a grind. Honestly, it's a grind to get those swings in, get the timer down, everything in, so I can perfect that swing over there.
David East infielder. He's a corner infielder. He can pitch very effectively too. This is a Duke commit out of Stone Mountain, Georgia, Jordan Walker.
Well, Jordan Walker checks so many boxes from a scouting perspective. 6'5", 210 pounds, sort of a Jason Hayward type build. Very agile at third base for his size. Runs a 6'5", 60.
Not right.
Has easy power. He hit 2 doubles in one of the national games. He's a Duke level student. It's Mr. Resume, and he'll be a fun one to watch develop as all those physical tools come together. I really think he can stay at third base despite that size.
Mom Katrina, Harvard grad. Dad Derek, MIT grad. By the way, a member of the National Honor Society. Jordan Walker. Jack O'Dowd is committed to go to Vanderbilt. Of course, Dad Dan O'Dowd, the longtime general manager, and Mom Jackie.
Yes, Jack O'Dowd is a smooth playing fielder. He's going to get stronger. The best part of his game right now is his left-handed bat. He's always performed at a very high level at PG events, and it's a bat that's going to keep improving as he gets stronger.
O'Dowd, a perfect game All-American, as is Arkansas commit Michael Brooks. He's out of Wellington, Florida, Palm Beach Central High School.
Well, Michael Brooks, I think he profiles as a second baseman in the future, an offensive second baseman. Has always hit at a high level, really dominates the high school ranks and in summer ball. It's an offensive package on a very athletic second baseman. He runs well, 6'6", but there's some power in there that's going to make him an offensive second baseman at the next level.
Michael Brooks, of course, a strong family background. Mom, Kristen, softball. Dad, Neil, football. Across the diamond to the shortstop area again, Ed Howard. Such great history with the White Sox ACE program. He's out of Linwood, Illinois, Mount Carmel High School.
Also a breakthrough series player, Darren. And this is a perfect example of what Major League Baseball talks so often about keeping the African-American athlete away from basketball or football and in the game of baseball, because I have no doubt that someone as athletic as Ed Howard could excel at other sports. Through the ACES, through breakthrough series, and through his development, he's really come on as a baseball player. I think this is a potential first-round pick who is so smooth athletically on the field.
Honor roll all 3 years. All the metrics are here, right? So I see you threw 88 from the infield. Your thoughts on that?
I think it can be higher. It will be higher. So, I mean, it's just a start.
Yeah.
So I get to see where I'm at now, and then we'll see in a few more years.
How does an athlete, who's a very good athlete, who's already on the map, get stronger velocity-wise? You're not a pitcher. You're not supposed to be a pitcher. But what have you done to make that arm stronger? Because I guess it matters, right?
Yeah, I guess just getting in the weight room, lifting, getting stronger naturally, and then also long tossing, and then staying flexible. Trying not to get too bulky, but being able to stay flexible so I can have rotation in my arm, and that'll help the whip.
The White Sox provide a lot of places to play in Chicago, don't they?
They do. The White Sox, it's they really helped me a lot get on the national scene. You know, getting me to the right tournaments, right showcases, training facilities. The coaches helping me, giving me advice. So White Sox, they did a lot for me. They helped me.
When I just say the word Chicago baseball, that little phrase, what kind of player comes from Chicago?
A player with grit, a player that's not necessarily the most flashiest, but a grinder. That's the word I would use, a grinder. That's what you'll get from a Chicago player, because we're not like from California, Florida. Not really we don't get that much notoriety like that. So when players from Chicago I don't know, it's just grinders. You know, they work for everything they get.
But it's cold in the Midwest, right? It's cold. You have excuses. You're not supposed to be good. It's cold.
Right.
Nobody makes excuses for the cold weather guys, do they?
We don't need any excuses. We get to get our work in inside, and then in the summertime, when we come out on the national scene, we can show it off.
Go ahead. Run hard.
Yeah.
Interesting getting back to pitchers and talking about East pitchers. You have shared that with regard to the scouting community this year and Perfect Game Scouts, these are the toughest decisions, that maybe building this roster was the hardest based upon the pitchers.
Oh, definitely, Darren, because there's so much that goes into evaluating a pitcher. We like looking at radar guns, obviously. We're always mentioning velocities, but there's so much more, especially when you're 17 years old and you have projection and growth potential. You know, you spin the ball, you throw changeups. It's just not velocity. That's important, but there's so much more that goes into evaluating a pitcher.
Well, let's get going with those athletes, and let's talk about Kentucky commit. He's out of Tennessee, Ryan Hagenow. Tell us about Ryan Hagenow.
Well, Ryan Hagenow, Darren, might be the guy, aside from Kyle Harrison, who we mentioned earlier, to pitch that one game you have to win. He struck out all 6 hitters at National. He struck out 12 in 6 innings at the 17 and under right after that. 6'5", 200 pounds, lots of arms and legs in the delivery, very funky and deceptive, and hitters just don't see the ball. The stuff is solid, 90-92, very good late breaking slider, nice changeup. But it's his ability to miss barrels that really stands out about him.
Yeah, you've done something when you have a perfect outing at National with all those elite hitters that you're dealing with. Ryan Hagenow, a perfect game All-American. As is another athlete who is playing up a class, Alejandro Rosario. This is a gentleman that has changed his graduation year to a 20, and this is also a young man who was a Perfect Game Select Fest alum.
Yeah, and unlike Blaze Jordan we talked about earlier, Rosario is fitting in right age-wise with this class. He's a very talented pitcher, loose, whippy, fast arm, was 93 to 95, touched some 97s this spring, and it's all power stuff. He throws a hard cutter as his breaking ball. He throws an outstanding split finger change that's in the mid-80s. It reminds me of a Mario Soto package, if I can go back that far.
Going old school, he's a Miami commit. Ryan Bruno is a Stanford commit. He's a lefty out of Wellington, Florida, American Heritage High School.
Yeah, very projectable lefty. He was up to 94 at National. We've seen that before, and there's just so much more potential there. It's primary fastball now. He starts working in a slider and a changeup, but it's a very projectable package. Also, maybe one of the most elite students, definitely one of the most elite students in this class.
Again, playing up a bit, 3 2/3 innings at Jupiter last fall, struck out 6 in 2018. Nate Savino, Virginia commit, out of Sterling, Virginia, Potomac Falls High School.
Oh man, was Nate Savino good in Phoenix at the National, up to 96 with the fastball, does it easy. It's a Matt Liberatore, who's now with the Rays type frame and arm action, but the stuff is so much firmer than Liberatore's was at the same point. He's one that scouts are going to dream on and love over the next year.
Big arm, Virginia commit, as we talked about, Savina. Tons of volunteer hours, by the way, with local organizations and churches. Will Sanders, South Carolina commit, East Cobb Astros. This is a guy who really is sneaky, has a bright future.
Oh yeah, this is the guy when you talk about evaluating pitchers across the whole spectrum. He's 6'6", 195 pounds. He's a strike thrower, only tops at 91 now. Fastball's his 3rd best pitch. He throws a very good breaking ball, an outstanding change. As I said, a strike thrower, and he's going to pop. That velocity is going to come with that frame and that athleticism, and we bet it's going to come soon.
In 2016, he was 5'11", 125. He's now 6'6", 195. Fun. Carson Montgomery was a Select Fest alum. He's a Florida State commit out of Windermere, Florida.
Well, velocity has always come very easily for Carson Montgomery. He was up to 96 last year. He's dialed it down and become more of a pitcher now, and it was really fun to see in Phoenix. He worked at 92, 94, which is plenty firm enough, but he calmed down his delivery. He was attacking with his fastball, putting away hitters with the breaking ball, and really pitching like a future big league pitcher instead of just a hard thrower.
Robotics engineer maybe in his future. Ben Hernandez, Illinois Chicago commit. He's out of the greater Chicagoland area.
Well, a real surprise for us, Darren, at National, because he's taken a big step forward. Big, fairly mature physical guy, but up to 93. But he might have had the best changeup that we saw in Phoenix. It was a dominating pitch for him at 83. Throws a big curveball that gets hitters off balance, but that changeup was an out pitch that hitters just had no ability to handle.
He was throwing 89 last summer. Look at him now. Joanne is mom. David is dad. A right-hander out of Chicago. We go from Chicago to the Bronx. Alex Santos in New York. He's a #1 player in that state. He's a Maryland commit.
Yeah, he's the best pitcher in the Northeast, and a young man that's all about projection. You look at that body, how long his arms, how loose the arm action is. He's up to 93 now and can spin the ball, but he's a type of pitcher that scouts are really going to dream on. I can see mid-90s in his future very easily.
Team Warstick, his travel team, touched 94 last fall. Mom is Yvette Flores. Dad, Alex Santos. Nolan McLean is up next. He gets the call. What interests me about him, he's a non-commit. He's available. Willow Springs, North Carolina, Gardner High School, and a great quarterback, too.
Yeah, he's also available. He's a 3-star quarterback. He's thrown for over 5,000 yards in his high school career so far, but he's also a two-way player in baseball. He's been up to 94 on the mound. You see him there on the mound. He's also got a big, powerful bat. Hit 9 home runs in high school last year and can put on a batting practice show like very few others. So it's a multiple-faceted athlete.
He's a dirtbag, and I mean the travel team, obviously. Victor Medeiros is a Miami commit. He, too, played in the 14U Select Fest out of Monsignor Edward Pace.
Well, we've seen Victor so much over the last 3 or 4 years from when he was throwing in the 90s as a freshman. He's matured physically. He's matured as a pitcher. He was up to 96 in Phoenix, but this is a sinker slider type package with the big durable body. Great sink on that fastball, can manipulate the breaking ball, but it's the classic sinker slider package on a big right hand.
91 to 96 at National, and now someone has to catch these elite pitchers. Vanderbilt commit Jack Bulger out of Bowie, Maryland.
Yeah, outstanding athlete, much like a Kevin Parada. It's kind of his match. Very solid athletically, big arm strength. What sets him apart is his bat, really. He has elite level bat speed, elite level exit velocities, and when you combine that with somebody who athletically is going to be able to stay behind the plate, you have a very well-rounded catching package.
Sean O'Connor's his high school coach. Brad Boris is his travel coach with Team Elite. Calvin Harris, he's fun because he's an Iowa guy. Perfect Game, founded in Iowa. He's an Ole Miss commit and a great student.
Yeah, real 2 Iowa guys this year, Darren. That's great. I know it makes Jerry Ford happy to see this talent coming out of Iowa. Another very advanced defensive catcher. Probably with Indra Romo stands out as much as any catcher in the country defensively. He's a left-handed hitter who's going to keep improving with the bat. He has the physical strength to hit.
14U Select Fest alum as well. Another catcher, Florida commit out of Nokomis, Florida. And this is a fun name to say. It's Matt Gassetti. He set us straight on how to say it.
Matt Gassetti, he's a very well-grounded player. He played for Mark Guthrie both at Venice High School and for the Florida Burn, ex-big leaguer Mark Guthrie, and you can see it in the polish of his game. He also is a player, a catcher, good defense, very promising bat.
Yeah, having a huge summer as well at the 17U WWBA. Those numbers, 9 of 18 with a homer in 7 games. Incredible, just outside of Atlanta, Georgia, an OPS of over 1,500. David, you and I were talking in prep for this show about the busyness at Perfect Games National Showcase this year at Chase Field, the home of the Arizona Diamondbacks. You scouts are busy. Of course, the athletes never stop. We're busy on the media team, and it's just constant motion, isn't it? And especially, and they're still watching from out here. We're going to have some special surprise athletes. It's so busy for the athletes.
Yeah, and we as scouts really don't know what's going on. We're bearing down up in the stands on everything. And when I see what happens afterwards, the things that you're doing, the things that Brad Clement are doing, the things that our sponsors are doing with these players, it's a full 14-hour experience every day. We're used to that as scouts. I don't know whether the players are used to that. They work hard at the National Showcase.
So we put together a unique situation. After every player was told that they were a finalist to be a Perfect Game All-American, they were brought into a separate interview situation, different than the features you saw. We kind of threw it out there about the aspirations that athletes may have, the impact that those coaches and family members have had on their life. That's the media intake room. Here's the very best of that. We call it the Zippy Auto Room because those are the 2 gentlemen that ran it so well. Here's the very best of their room.
I absolutely love it, going out and hearing the pop of a glove or smell pine tar and all that, and dirt and grass. I think that's what really keeps me coming back. It'd be unbelievable to get that call. It'd be something that would be really special for me, and not only me, but me and my family. I think it'd be awesome.
I don't even know how to put it in words. It'd be a dream. I mean, obviously, being in that game since I was 14 when Perfect Game became like a big event for all of us. Looking at that game has been what I've wanted to do since 14.
When I was a really little kid, around 4, my grandma, she seen me play swing the bat, and she was like, "Oh yeah, you need to start playing baseball." And so after that, I just started playing Little League, and after that, it just took off. If I got the call to go to San Diego, it would mean a lot. I mean, I come from a small town in Savoy, Illinois, and it would be a really good, like a great accomplishment for me to do that and put on for my city, you know.
Playing with all these guys who are all going to be, you know, future big leaguers one day, just what a remarkable experience and time to be out here, just playing the game of baseball. I work so hard all the time working for this, and it's always been one of my goals to be able to make it to the All-American game. So I would say it would just be awesome for my family, all my friends, and so I'd be really excited if I did.
If I get the call to San Diego, you know, speechless, but I think it's just, you know, it's a good reflection of all the nights I've just kind of went and hit and threw instead of going over to a friend's house, and, you know, all the sacrifices that I've made just kind of builds up into one moment, so that'd be a pretty big deal for me.
And we're joined by 2 local All-Americans. Kevin Sim, congratulations. Jordan Thompson, congratulations. This is a thrill now for me to have guys that are local, that this is your ballpark. And very recently you were announced, you were the first that were made public as All-Americans. And Jordan, I'm going to start with you because you're a shortstop and you have the opportunity to play where Fernando Tatis plays, right? But yeah, you got to meet Fernando Tatis. I want you to take me from the moment you stood up there at the press conference to spending time with him in the locker room just recently. What was that like?
It was super awesome. He's definitely someone that I try to model my game after, and to be given the opportunity to go down into the clubhouse and meet him and take pictures with him and talk to him a little bit, it was really cool. Something I'm definitely going to remember.
I'd be selling you and our viewers short if I didn't ask you what else was talked about. I know it probably wasn't a long conversation, but the players you ran into, the things you saw in that locker room, give us a little bit of UBR VR goggles. What did it look like?
It was cool, just them hanging out, you know. We talked to Will Myers and Tatis, and he just told us to really have fun and enjoy the moment and to just keep playing hard, so.
Kevin, did you have fun that night when you were announced?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's an amazing feeling to be able to be picked as one of the top 50 players in the country, and it's just an honor.
So Torrey Pines High School, Kirk McCaskill is your head coach. You are a third baseman. For those who haven't seen you play, give us a bit of a scouting report on your game and dive deep. These are baseball fans watching this. Who are you as an athlete?
As an athlete, first of all, I'm a third baseman. I take pride in my defense. I have good glove, good arm strength. And in the batter's box, I like to be confident, spray the ball gap to gap, and I'll hit for power, hit for average.
One of the most interesting things as part of your journey is kindergarten. Not just going to kindergarten, that's hard enough for every young person in the world, but you moved from South Korea to the United States. You started kindergarten as someone who was learning a language. You've come a long way, baby, obviously, as they say, but what do you recall about your younger days when you first moved here to San Diego?
I remember being very scared. If my parents didn't pick me up on time, I would cry and just, it was a very different culture. So, I mean, when I first got here, I was very scared. And after a year passed, I got really comfortable with my peers, and I mean, I just fit in very well.
Jordan, step into the box, and we're going to go with you. We're going to watch you hit. What are some of the keys to your swing, from your shoelaces all the way to your helmet? What are some of the moving parts in your swing that you find very important?
Well, first off, I just like to stay confident, really know that I can beat anyone, and I just like, when I step in the box, I like to stare at the bat, really focus, and get myself calmed down. I look at the pitcher, and I'm just a little bat wiggle, hands high, and then as the pitch is coming in, I do a little bit of a leg kick, and then I let it go.
Timing mechanism, getting that foot down. Is that a challenge? When did you add the leg kick? How much of that is a challenge in your swing?
I started doing a leg kick probably when I was like 13 or 14. It really helped with like power. I feel I'm able to stand my legs more and really transfer my power. I started hitting a lot more like deep doubles and home runs once I started doing the leg kick, so that's something that I really like to do.
Chung Soo Chim, your dad, had an incredible career as a pro. Still a very young man, by the way, and still very fit, but here's an athlete who hit nearly 400 home runs playing professionally in Korea. What has he passed along with you, and maybe something specific that he's passed along, whether it be about your swing, how you handle yourself at events like this, because he was essentially a legend playing in Korea.
I mean, he's like my role model. He teaches me so many things about this game, that this is a game of failures, that I can't get down on myself for one mistake, one bad at bat, one strikeout, and that just have fun playing the game, that this is all just a procedure, and take one step at a time, and that at the end goal is hopefully making it to the big leagues. And that he teaches me a lot about my swing mechanics, and if something's flawed, then he'll tell me about it, and it's an easy fix with him, so I'm very fortunate to have that.
He got after it, though. I mean, he was the guy, one of the first guys to grab the barbells and lift in Korea, right?
Yeah.
Hercules.
Yeah, that was his nickname.
Why?
I'd say a lot of his coaches told him that if you're too big, then you're going to be stiff and won't be able to hit the ball. But then, I mean, he proved everyone wrong. He started hitting home runs after home runs. I think the most home runs he hit a year was 53, and that's in 126 games. I think they play far less games than they do here.
Yeah,
so
incredible. I want to ask you, Jordan, and we're going to thank you guys for hanging out with us. I want to ask you about the part, since you're local, a San Diego product, about the visit to Rady Children's Hospital. Both of you guys are involved through your schools and service hours and all that goes on. But you have an opportunity now to visit a children's hospital, to raise funds on your own. How much of that in this game means to you, Jordan?
Oh, it means a lot, being able to not only be able to play in the game, but use the platform to be able to spread awareness and really make the kids feel better, and that it's not really like we're there for them, they're not alone, and that we really care. So it's really big and important that we're able to do this.
Same question. Are you looking forward to that opportunity? Albeit sometimes a challenging one. Are you looking forward to that?
Yeah, obviously these are kids that are very unfortunate, and we have it very well, being able to be grown up in San Diego in this nice weather, and that we sometimes forget about how fortunate we are, and that it's great to be able to visit there and just hang around them, and it's just going to be an overall great day.
Congratulations. Congratulations to both you guys. Go show Tatis how it's done out there at shortstop, okay?
Yeah.
We really appreciate it, guys. Have fun here in San Diego.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So, one of the parts that we spoke about, and really one of the most important, is the impact of this game, with the proceeds benefiting Rady Children's Hospital here locally. With regard to advancements and impact in technology, many say one of the most progressive children's hospitals in the world. $1.1 million has been raised for the fight against pediatric cancer by this game. And now it's mushrooming just a bit, exciting as the PG Cares Foundation grows and is founded. As a matter of fact, you can visit PG Cares, perfectgamecares.org. So many great events outside of this event with these young gentlemen. An opportunity to be a part of a celebrity softball game in the Midwest in Cedar Rapids, Iowa at the end of July, on July 27th. In November, raising funds for autism awareness for the Southwest Autism Research and Resource Center. The Perfect Game Cares Foundation, providing opportunity for so many who won't otherwise get that opportunity. And who better to speak on the impact of this game on these young athletes and the visit to Rady Children's Hospital than Perfect Game's national spokesperson and brand ambassador and Hall of Famer, Trevor Hoffman.
It's been an eye-opener to realize how much really gets put on a young person's plate, not only with the game, but the obligations and the experiences they're going to be able to be a part of and create. I don't think they really know what they're getting into at first, and so to have that opportunity to kind of maybe help them out with some of the things that I've seen guys be able to handle and how they've been able to navigate some of the things have been great. It's a whirlwind of a year. You try and reflect on it a little bit in a way that you want them to try and enjoy it. They're very talented, extremely talented, and they keep getting better and better every year, but I just love being around the kids. It really is that opportunity that they get to put some of their skill sets together and realize how blessed they are to have health and understand that this is an opportunity to use my platform in a way for good. And so it's great that we're able to partner up with Rady. They get to go out and experience some things, not only what the patients are going through and how difficult that can be, but they can see the caregivers and how much they're giving and how much they really invest their lives into the kids' lives that they're treating. And so it's a great opportunity for them to learn, and obviously something that they're going to benefit from the rest of their career.
Trevor Hoffman, impactful, not only impactful in the city on the diamond, but obviously impactful. He's kept this as his home. He is so involved in the community, Rady Children's Hospital as well. But you've seen Trevor over the last couple of years as he kind of puts just the t-shirt on, goes down to the bullpen, and my goodness, do those young pitchers pull up a chair and listen close.
Well, Trevor is such a sincere human being. Yes, he's a Hall of Famer. I think he's a Hall of Fame human being, and I think the kids recognize that. They respect the achievements, but once he starts talking to them on their level, that really, really brings them in.
So the interesting thing about Trevor Hoffman is that he obviously was an infielder turned a pitcher. As we get back to the West infielders, that could happen to Cade Horton, because as far as athletes go, he could be a pitcher or a hitter. As we talk about the West infielders, he's a great all-around athlete.
Well, such a good athlete, and the years will determine what he ends up doing. He's a 6'2", 190-pound, highly athletic middle infielder, runs a 6'5", certainly has the bat to be an impact middle infielder. He also throws 95 off the mound, and I'm sure he's going to throw to at least a few hitters in San Diego in August. He's also, off the baseball field, he's a quarterback recruit to the University of Oklahoma. So Cade Horton can pretty much do it all athletically.
Mom is Carrie, dad is Mike, 92 to 95, as you said, with his fastball. And Horton, Norman High School, Midwest Elite, his travel team, an outstanding all-around athlete, Cade Horton. Let's stay in that part of the country and go to an Arkansas commit out of Greenbrier High School in Arkansas, Kaden Wallace. Twice he's been All-State.
Well, Kaden Wallace reminds me a lot of Blaze Jordan as an athlete. He matured early. He's always been a high-level hitter. He has really toned down the body, got much more athletic, elite-level arm strength, but he's a 6'6" runner now. He's going to stay at third base, which was a worry for a while. But like Blaze Jordan, the bat is what really plays. He's an impact hitter.
Kaden Wallace, and again, this is an athlete we're excited to see. He was an underclass All-American last year. Michael Brown homered in the National Showcase out of Vacaville, California. He's available. He's a non-commit.
Yeah, and this is just a big bat. 6'5", 230 pounds. You think about the great sluggers in baseball history who are those big first basemen. Michael Brown has those tools. It's a beautiful left-handed swing built for power. And Michael Brown's a very good athlete. He's going to be an asset at first base defensively. He's very athletic, very quick with his feet and glove, even at that size.
Dad Michael, 6'7", played in about 600 minor league games. Robert Moore, one of the purest shortstops in the nation. He's an Arkansas commit out of Leawood, Kansas.
Well, Robert Moore's just fun to watch play defense. He's so bouncy. He's so polished. He grew up in a major league park as the son of Dayton Moore, the Royals general manager. We always worried that whether he'd get strong enough to hit, though, and over the last year he has really improved physically. He's a switch hitter who's equal from both sides, but at the end of the day, we're going to be paying to watch Robert Moore play defense in the big league.
Last year in Jupiter, he was 8 for 11 with a walk. He was playing up a year to play in that event. Some kind of crazy. UCLA awaits the arrival of Milan Tolentino, Mission Viejo, California, Santa Margarita Catholic High School.
Well, another young man who grew up in big league ballparks. His father, Jose, played for the Astros, longtime broadcaster, who I believe you've worked with, Darren, but a polished player, and it shows in his game. It shows in his internal clock on the field playing defense. Left-handed hitter, which is always great for a middle infielder, with a really improving bat that's going to develop some power.
Was a big part of that 1-0 win over Norco for a CIF championship here in California. Drew Bowser's a Californian out of Encino. Harvard Westlake, like Pete Crow Armstrong, this is a Stanford commit.
Yeah, our only teammate, high school teammates on the All-American team this year. Bowser plays shortstop at Harvard Lake, 6'3", 205. I think he's going to move to third base in the future, but be an asset there. He's a very smooth athlete. The bat is going to determine his ceiling. It's a lot of bat speed. It's a lot of leverage, a lot of power there in the future.
Great family ties. His grandfather playing professional football for the New York Giants. His exit velocity was 100 miles an hour. A.J. Vukovich from McGuanago. That's right, McGuanago, Wisconsin. The Scotty's back in the house. This is a Louisville commit.
Yeah, and A.J. Vukovich, it's that classic profile, the power-hitting third baseman. He's about 6'5", 195 pounds. Very athletic, runs a 6'8". I think he could end up in right field at the next level, but the bats plays. He had a big Jupiter last year. I saw a home run he hit there, but just an all-around solid player.
Excited about the Brewer babies, I call them, athletes from the state of Wisconsin. Tyler Soderstrom can play just about anywhere. His bat plays well. He catches and plays on the corner infield. he's essentially the 7th catcher in this game.
Yeah, essentially, you know, I said before that the catching was so talented in this group that Soderstrom has the athleticism to play all over the field. His best tool is his bat, though. Left-handed hitter with a very smooth, very projectable swing. And his father was a big league pitcher. I wonder what he thinks of his son being a hitter.
Had Tyler played a little bit of basketball as well out of Turlock High School. Non-commit, Jace Borfin out of Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, Westmore High School.
Well, Jace Borfin is one of my private picks to click. Every scout has their guys that think, okay, this guy can be better than we have him. And we obviously have him as an All-American. We respect all the tools, but he has a chance to really improve. It's easy athleticism. It's a slow down the game type athleticism. He's fast, he has a great arm, and a very projectable bat.
3 times a 4.0 academic award, which means he is getting it done in the classroom as well. Speed, UCLA commit, Huntington Beach High School. Benji Maduri's his head coach. He ran a 6.1560 just off the record.
Yeah, well, speed talks loudly, and Jake Vogel's speed talks more loudly than anybody in the class. He flies. I've seen him play in a lot of games for Huntington Beach High School. He hits leadoff as you'd expect, and it's a very solid hitting approach. I think he surprised us at Chase Field with his power, with his bat speed. It's just not a speed package, a center field package. I think he's going to have some alley pop at least in the future.
Football, volleyball, soccer, hoops, played it all growing up. Slade Wilkes, Southern Miss commit, Columbia, Mississippi, varsity athlete in the 7th grade.
Oh yeah, this is another pick to click. It just happens 2 of them are outfielders here. He's got 44 home runs in his high school career, but he hurts baseballs. He comes to the plate with the idea he's going to hurt the baseball. He has always hit at PG events. I think, what, he hit 3 home runs last week at 17 and under. That's what his track record is. 6'2", 215 pounds. He is going to hit the ball out of the park. What position he plays in the future, corner, outfield, first base, we'll see. He's a hitter.
Out of Columbia Academy, he's another great student, 4.0 GPA. Mom is Sissy, dad is Porter. Let's put a bow on this roster and do it with a very unique athlete and a very talented athlete in Chase Davis. We're going to show you some of his video and who he is as a player and break down Chase. And we have a bigger picture dive deep with Chase Davis. But just tell us about the athlete, what you saw at National, what you've seen the last few years from the young man just outside of Sacramento, California.
Well, Chase Davis is one of the players who's so athletic and his tools are diverse. He has the potential to become a 5-tool player. He's a big, strong kid, 6'1", 205, left-handed. It's a special arm. We talked about Jared Jones being the arm. Well, Chase Davis threw 99 from the outfield, and it was easy. He doesn't pitch, interestingly enough, but there's big power. We've seen that power in games. He has barrel skills. He's a good runner. He ran solid average home to first at National. So all the tools are there, and he plays hard. He gets it. After meeting him today, I know more that he gets it. As a baseball player, he's going to be really fun to watch develop.
Shh, don't tell anyone you've met him yet today, because we're going to surprise everyone that he's coming on after this feature. And where we really got to know Chase Davis was in Jupiter last year at Perfect Games World Wood Bat Association World Championship. And it was event number 3 that he had played in a PG event, albeit from Sacramento, California, with that Breakthrough Series team, put together by Major League Baseball, a very impactful team. Tony Regan's brainchild. Del Matthews sees it through, but there's so many decades of leadership and experience with those rosters. Here's Chase at the PG event with the Breakthrough Series team.
A lot of people like to see just them pot. It's just isolations. I could break and stuff like that. I'm Chase Davis. I'm from Sacramento, California. I love baseball, and I could glitch a little bit, and I swim. And I work out. One coach I really got closer with on the staff is Jerry Manuel.
When I saw Chase, I thought, wow, this guy's got a chance to be a really good player because he has the 5 tools that you're looking for.
He's able to come back here and spread his information and knowledge he's gained.
With all those tools, now our next step is how do we implement them in the rhythm and flow of the game.
We live kind of close to each other. He's from Sacramento as well. I'm able to talk to him, or if any questions I have about any kinds of things I need to work on, I can talk to him about anything. I love his company. He's just a great man overall. Every second is valued because a lot of people don't get these opportunities that I'm getting. I'm just blessed and excited to have him in my life.
It's not a correction of the swing or anything like that, or how he throws, anything like that. It's now the game now becomes, how do you handle not this checkers match, but this chess match? And once you get to understanding that, then that's the only when you can dominate, really, really dominate.
And to make this show even better, from Elk Grove, California, in the Sacramento area, he's a perfect game All-American. Chase Davis is joining us.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.
That was such a great feature. I'm so glad you hung on to that. I'm going to give you a hat. You know, you're an All-American, so you have to get the honorary hat. But please leave this on.
Thank you.
I mean, that's such a big part of who you are as an athlete. We just saw that feature. Let's start there. The experience of being part of Major League Baseball's Breakthrough Series, the impact it has had on you. Share some of that. Share some memories, please.
It just allowed me to be able to really just be who I am and express who I am as a person and as a baseball player. A lot of great people around me, a lot of coaches and talent, and just being able to go out there each and every single time, whether it's Florida or Arizona or here in California. Great time everywhere I go. Just laugh and joking with the players and the coaches, but most importantly, the knowledge that I get from the coaches. A lot of ex-MLB players and coaches, and it's just great to be around them, and I learn so much every day from them.
Yeah, Chase, those big league players, that's really one of the wonderful things about watching the Breakthrough Series. You had a moment last year in Jupiter where there might have been a teaching moment, and I want to ask you about it. Okay. You hit a bomb at Jupiter, 150 scouts watching and everything like that, no doubter to right field, and you enjoyed it. Yeah. You sat at home plate and you watched it all the way out to right field, and it was not a sprint around the bases either. With all this knowledge and experience in the dugout, did they use that as a teaching moment with you?
Well, I hit it and I got back to the dugout after I touched home plate, and the coaches and players were like, Chase, did you just see what you just did? I was like, yeah. And they were like, well, hey, you're lucky they won't hit you next at bat. And I was like, okay, we'll see what happens. But I took my time, but at the same time, in a moment like that, it was a lot of adrenaline, a lot of expectations, and it just felt good as soon as it came off the bat.
Oh, it looked good too. Yeah. I didn't mind it at all. In the big leagues, they might have a different thing. But we're talking about big league players. Is there a big league player that you emulate, that you've patterned your game off, that stands out to you as a young, power-hitting, left-handed athlete?
Carlos Gonzalez. He used to be on the Rockies, and then he went to the Indians, and now he's on the Cubs. But Cargo, because he's just his swing, his fielding ability, and just him off the field as a father and as a husband. But when I hit, people say I swing like him. People say like my form is like him. I don't try to mimic him. I just swing, and then people were like, "Oh, you look like him," and I'm like, "Okay, well, that's awesome." But he's my favorite player, and I love to watch him every day.
Right.
Chase, this game is so unique with regard to the impact it can have on the athletes and their futures. What do you know about this game beforehand? Did you ever watch it? What did you know about it? And when you found out you were coming down here and you were a perfect game All-American, what does it mean?
Man, I just started just, you know, as every kid would, starting young and just going T-ball, and just it's a fun kind of thing until I found out I could play the game a little bit, and then I just kept pursuing, and it's just been history ever since. And then when I found out PG All-American, I can get this opportunity. It's just a blessing. Number one, it's a blessing, and I'm able to come down here with the best guys from all around the country and play with them and be able to have a good time.
I have a quick follow-up on your athleticism, because your athleticism brought you here, but with all the excitement worldwide about soccer, and understandably so, you were right there between the posts. You were a keeper at a club level to where, and you're committed to go play for Jay Johnson at Arizona, where you could have been committed to go be playing Division I soccer. How much did you enjoy that? How much has it helped you as a baseball player, being an elite club-level soccer goalie?
Yeah, I think as a keeper, there's a lot of expectations. Soccer, as you know, is a lot of conditioning, a lot of running, a lot of working out. But I just feel like as a soccer player, it just allowed me to be able to stay athletic throughout baseball, because I was juggling baseball and soccer literally my whole life until I stuck with baseball. But soccer's allowed me to be able to become a better person athletically and just with experiences sports-wise, and just be in tough situations, whether it's in between the posts or in between the lines on the diamond. It's
a great sport. It's a great sport.
Getting back to baseball for a moment, we talked about you before you came on about what a great all-around athlete you are, with the arm strength, with the athleticism, the speed, the power. When you get on a field, how do you self-identify as a player? Are you going to win the game today with your bat, with your power, with your glove, with your speed? What do you think when Chase Davis goes on a baseball field? What do you do best and identify with?
Every chance, I think it's really two big things. Every chance I get at the plate, I try and do as much damage as I can, power-wise. Just get a good pitch over the plate to hit. Obviously be selective and hit my pitch. And then in the outfield, my arm is literally my best tool. My glove is a really good tool as well, but my arm, every chance I get to throw someone out or make a big play for my team, I do it.
Right field or center field in the future, if it's your choice?
The corner, right field. I like right field, center field. I don't mind, but right field is just I feel really comfortable there, and I've been doing that my whole life. So right field is the option I would go with.
All right.
Thanks for helping us put a bookend on this show, my friend.
Yes,
incredible.
Thank you guys for having me.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
PG All-American. Boys, come on in. We're gonna put a wrap on this. Congratulations, guys. We're going to have a lot of fun out here. While you guys chat amongst yourselves, we'll remind all of you this game is being played at Petco Park, and it will be played August the 11th, and it will be on the MLB Network and streaming live on MLB.com, 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock Pacific, and you will catch it absolutely there. Go find it all the way on SiriusXM as well on MLB Network Radio. We're glad all these guys are going to be here. Proceeds benefiting Rady Children's Hospital. And again, we want to thank the San Diego Padres for their elite level of cooperation, Major League Baseball for helping us all along the way, the great scouts, David and his team with Perfect Game. They work so hard, seeing these players all the time. You guys can relax, by the way. You're pretty stiff. It's not a true working. You guys do look good back there, though. Keep smiling. I like that. They work hard seeing these players all the time. Have fun, folks. We look forward to this game. You guys have fun and you represent your communities and just enjoy yourselves. David Ronsley, Darren Sutton, and on behalf of all these athletes, all of the Perfect Game All-Americans, this is your roster. That will be the game. We'll see you right here at Petco Park on August the 11th on the MLB Network.